How come no one told me 2021 was going to be the year that Tana Mongeau starts making sense? What's up, guys? Today we're talking about Tana Mongeau because she's been calling out everyone who's ever done her wrong. And when I say everyone, I mean James Charles and Shane Dawson. It's a mess, so let's get into it.
Exposed. Exposed. You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Exposed, 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 exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
So, our girl Tana Mongeau is getting braver and braver every day because she's now speaking out about her problematic ex-friends. It all started last month when Tana put out multiple tweets about how bad the influencer world is behind the scenes. People were really trying to guess who Tana was even talking about, but let's be honest. Tana has been friends with literally every problematic person on the internet, so guessing was going to be really hard. But a lot of people narrowed it down to either Shane Dawson or James Charles, especially after she tweeted this. Sometimes just because a person is problematic, you should think about the things they have to say about other people. You might not like someone, but they are behind the scenes in the same space, seeing the people you idolize for who they really are. Now, this tweet really made people think this had to be about James Charles. A lot of people do idolize James, and Tana used to be really good friends with him, so it would make sense, right? Then something happened, and now I'm almost certain she was talking about James. A reporter for Insider was digging through her old receipts from past dramas and came across this gem from Tana Mongeau. Back in May of 2019, Tana tweeted someone named Gage and said, "I watched you lead on and my friend for a whole weekend. And when you realized you got scared and made a video lying, accusing him of being legit, watching you lie like this and get away with it breaks my heart. He's a person too. You and I know the truth." Now let's back up for a second. If you haven't been following James since like 2019, you might not know who Gage is. Gage is the first ever guy that I know about to come forward about James right before Tati dropped Bye Sister. Gage was James's date for Coachella 2019, and after that, everything went downhill. Some fans noticed James and Gage at Coachella together, and everyone assumed they were dating. James actually replied to a fan who assumed this and said, "Nope. Unfortunately, I am still very single. This boy played me for months on end and is a disgusting con artist. I'm thankful I had my friends with me to protect me." Gage ended up seeing his tweets pretty much slandering him and posted his own YouTube video telling his side of the story. According to Gage, he told James that he was straight and wasn't interested in James like that. Apparently, whenever he would tell James that he was straight, James would get really mad at him, and he would almost tell him that he was like confused or something. James would block him and unblock him when he didn't get the answer he was looking for, and the whole situation was just a mess. According to Gage, there was absolutely no way that he could have played James like he was trying to claim, because he told him he was straight from the start and wasn't interested in him like that.
That I was always 100% honest with him. So he was aware how I felt about him and basically still like pursued this action. In between a week or two, I was like blocked and unblocked multiple times because maybe I wouldn't respond to his Snapchat right away, or maybe I wouldn't respond to his DM right away, or I wouldn't pick up a FaceTime call.
Of course, James turned around and pretty much tried to paint Gage as a clout chaser. That seems to be James' favorite word. He issued a huge notepad explanation on Twitter entitled it "Boys," where he pretty much said Gage left out a ton of details from his video, he never pushed Gage to do anything that he didn't want to do, and he never knew that he was straight. Here's what James had to say. "When he left, my friends, looking out for me as friends should, told me the many red flags that they noticed about him. Simple things such as him not helping clean up, to more serious things like him only holding/kissing me when a celebrity or influencer was around. I gathered my thoughts and expressed how I was feeling, and he apologized for upsetting my friends, but not for upsetting me. He then told me he had no feelings for me. In that moment, I was not upset that he didn't like me back. Rather, I was upset that I ignored red flags and wasted 5 months of my life. And also, because of the timing of Coachella and everything that happened, I felt taken advantage of." Anyways, after James addressed everything, Gage was seen as a clout chaser online, and that's who Tana was talking about in her tweet. Having another influencer back up James' story really made people believe James over Gage. Her tweet got over like 12,000 likes, and it had a huge impact on the story. Well, 2 years later, Tana Mongeau is now taking what she said back. She responded to the reporter and said 100% manipulated and begged to tweet that. I was defending someone that was my friend at the time and I believe them. Sad to see. I later reconciled with Gage and discussed it, apologized, and heard his side of the story. And now I call him one of my closest friends. Things change. So now the whole story is changing. Tana didn't tweet her support for James against Gage because that was truly how she felt. She did it because she was friends with James and he begged and manipulated her to. Even though I'm shook, this actually makes a lot of sense because Tana became friends with Gage shortly after this whole situation happened. A lot of people were so confused. Like, why would Tana, who spoke out about Gage, be friends with someone who tried to expose her bestie James? But now we know why. Gage talked to her, told her what really happened, and now Tana feels like James manipulated her into tweeting that. But it doesn't stop there. Tana then went on TikTok and posted a video saying, "Me to the people I stopped being friends with for that tried to make me look like the bad person and are now getting canceled for the same reasons I cut them off." Guys, please tell me you're following along. People tried to make Tana look bad? James. Now getting called out for the reasons that she cut them off? James. It all makes sense now. Now let's take a quick break from James for a second and talk about Shane Dawson. Last week, an old collab video from Shane and Tana started recirculating again because the thumbnail and title were really questionable. Another drama channel called Spill Sesh tweeted out about it and wrote, "How was this ever allowed?" And Tana Mongeau actually liked it. So now we have her speaking out about James Charles and Shane Dawson. I never thought I would ever say this, and don't you guys ever hold this against me, but I think I finally want a storytime video from Tana Mongeau. Moving on from Tana, we finally have an update about James Charles. Last night, I was on my favorite makeup website, Morphe.com, and usually I would use my girl Jacqueline's code to support her during these hard times, but I decided to use James's because he's clearly struggling. And to my surprise, code James has been disabled. It literally took weeks for it to happen, but they're finally putting a stop to him making revenue from his code. As of right now, his palette is still up on their website, and I'm sure he's still making money from the sales of that, but I'm just wondering if they'll ever officially drop him. Anyways guys, let me know what you think about everything down below. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button because it really does help my channel, and I'll see you next time.